Okay, so the late Ray Stevenson's character in Ahsoka, Balin Skoll, is a former Jedi that survived Order 66 and has since become a mercenary for hire. This is my question to you. The more and more that we keep getting into Disney Star Wars, is the concept and the intenseness, let's say, of Order 66 being diluted with the amount of Jedi survivors that we have? Because in my eyes, it definitely is. The more and more we keep getting into Disney Star Wars and we keep getting more and more and more Jedi survivors. I mean, all the Inquisitors so far are Jedi survivors. From what we've been told and what we've heard, not one person has said that it was a recruited Sith assassin or dark side assassin that Vader or Palpatine hired or anything. From my understanding so far, all the Inquisitors were ex-Jedi. Even the Grand Inquisitor, which was shown in Rebels. But then we've got characters like Cal Kestis and his master. And then if you go to the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, how many lightsabers were in those tubs? And how many of the Jedi wrote on those walls throughout the path that they go through to be saved? Now you've got this guy, Balin. And who knows, probably his apprentice as well, the chick one from this series. You've got Kanan Jarrus, who does die in the end, not at the hands of Vader, not even at the hands of Thrawn. The more and more Jedi survivors that we continue to get, to me, dilutes everything to do with Order 66. Palpatine failed the purge. He might have gained power. He might have succeeded in what he was basically trying to do in regards to gaining power. Now, I'm not going to argue that every single Jedi died that night of Order 66 because I know from the EU that that's not the case. But the ones that did survive were hunted down by Vader. Very early on too. You know, I saw somebody tweet out the other day, oh, it's not so far-fetched to believe that there were plenty of Jedi survivors out there. I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi went back to the temple and changed the signal to say, run away, don't come back. Because the signal was out there saying, come back to the temple, come back to Coruscant. The war is over. They were basically the Empire, the Emperor and Vader, basically put that signal out there to lure in any Jedi that did survive. How many of them made it back to the temple? Yoda and Obi-Wan. Now, yeah, they reversed the signal to tell them all to get away and run away and all of that sort of thing, just in case. But, you know, that scene where Order 66 goes down and Yoda is on Kashyyyk and he sort of drops his cane and he drops to the ground and his heart's hurting. He feels the amount of loss out there. To me, that scene is now completely diminished. Reva is another Jedi survivor who survives being stabbed twice by Vader. To me, this entire thing has been diluted. And I also want to make the argument that back when they were filming Rebels, right? This is one thing, I hate Freddie Prinze Jr., but this is one thing that I've got to give him credit for. I don't know, I tried to find it. I found the quote, right? And we'll get to that in a second. But Freddie Prinze Jr. went to Filoni and said that Kanan needs to die before we get to the end of this series. Why did he say that? Why did he say that? Because in the back of his mind, and Filoni agreed with him at that time, in the back of both their minds, by the time we get to by the time we get to A New Hope, there are 2 Jedi left. That is it. That's it. There was Obi-Wan and there was Yoda. And it was pretty much only Obi-Wan and Yoda from the moment of Order 66. The only reason why I know that it's not the case was because in the Rise of Darth Vader novel, There was a band of Jedi on Kashyyyk that got hunted down by Vader. But then I also saw the other day that Ayla Secura and there was another one, I can't remember now, survived as well. Like, to me, Order 66 has been massively diluted by Disney. And that's the same thing as doing your character destruction of Luke Skywalker. And Shuk T. Thank you, Nikki. Ayla Secura and Shuk T survived as well. Jedi Masters. Not just Jedi Knights. Yeah, that's why I hate fucking Freddie Prinze Jr. 2 + 2 = balance. Fucking moron. Yeah, wonder where Cal was during the OT. Wonder where Ahsoka was during the OT. Wonder where Balin was during the OT. There are so, absolutely, man. It is so fucking stupid. And this is the thing that blows my mind, is that somebody like Star Wars Theory, that I'm not saying that he doesn't love Star Wars. I know he does, right? And I know he wants good Star Wars. But this is where I can't understand, where somebody like him goes, oh, I'm all for this, only if Dave Filoni's involved or in charge. He's the one doing this. He's the one that's doing this. So this is the quote. So this was, again, I don't know whether or not it was during the time that they were recording. It must have been. It must have been. From the moment that they started doing this series, I believe Freddie Prinze Jr. was like, well, Kanan's got to die by the end of it. Because everybody at that period of time just believed that there were 2 Jedi left. Baby Yoda is another one. Absolutely. Thank you, Nitrium. Where was Baby Yoda during the OT? So many Jedi survivors. What about, I can't even remember his name now, Jar Jar Binks. I'll call him that. Another Jedi survivor of Order 66. And that whole scene takes away from the containment of the Jedi Purge in the temple, because they're flying through Coruscant, shooting, hitting buildings, blowing up buildings, all of this kind of stuff. It never went that far wide. It never made it out of the temple like that. It is so bad what they're doing. So this is Dave Filoni quoting this. I have to give Freddie a lot of credit, because he really kept me on track with this throughout the whole series. So throughout the entire series, Freddie was like, you know, by the end, Kanan needs to be gone. Like, he can't be around during the time of the OT. And because he was adamant about Kanan needing to go, needing to die. Even at the point when I was like, man, Freddie, this is depressing. He was like, no, man. Nah, man. Of course, the whole Freddie Prinze Jr. thing. You got to do it. You have to make it happen. It was like, okay, I guess I will. I was very sad. It was very moving. Now, the way Kanan Jarrus sacrifices himself, I'm not going to deny, is a pretty good scene and a pretty good way to go out, right? For a Jedi Knight. I don't like the whole idea of him even surviving Order 66, but he did. And then, of course, you get a little bit of Bad Batch Season 1 of how he survived, which changed from their own canon again. It's kind of like Tales of the Jedi. All the Ahsoka stuff during Tales of the Jedi completely retcons the book. But see, when Disney came out and said, oh, we're going to decanonize the EU and we're going to have this one good linear story that just makes sense, and the canon's going to be spot on. The books, the shows, the animated shows, the live action stuff, it's all going to be connected. Bullshit. They've already fucked that. Now, I'm not saying the EU was perfect, but it was way better and way more consistent than this. So again, I want to ask the question, have Disney made Order 66 almost pointless? Have they removed the power that Order 66 gave you as a viewer of that moment? I just wanted to make that point that I am getting so sick and tired of seeing multiple Jedi survivors here, there, popping up everywhere. And how powerful Order 66 was as a moment in Star Wars is continually being diminished.